Good morning and welcome to Namaste today, a groovy way to start your day. I'm Christopher Witecki, your host and spiritual life coach. This audio blogcast is for Thursday, February 2nd, 2017. Welcome back and Namaste. Today may begin a little wonky, but we'll end up with breakthrough and clarity. And on top of that, you'll be feeling much stronger when you go to sleep tonight than you did when you woke up. In your zodiac weather, I'll talk about the energies of step 13 today and your breakthrough. And later in Tea Time, part 2 of yesterday's series, we're going to talk about the psychic reEvolution and where your generation fits in. But first, let's take a look at today's planets and your zodiac weather. This zodiac weather is for Thursday, February 2nd, 2017. And my prediction for the global Earth consciousness is sunny and feeling clear. At least after you go through a little bit of a breakthrough today. The moon is in Aries, calling upon our strength. But the good news is the hard part is over. Let's take a look at the planets. As you wake up today, step 13 rules the day. Now that is purebred Aquarius breakthrough energy. You might have had some wacky dreams last night. If that's the case, good for you. It's better to work it out in a dream than it is in reality sometimes, especially these Aquarius topics. So the morning might feel a little wonky and a little funky, but it's very soon afterwards, depending on where you live in the country, that we move right into step 14. In fact, step 14 comes online at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So what this means is you're going to feel sort of funky and off in the beginning, but then just all of a sudden click into gear. And it may be that you finally realize something you've been chewing on all month long. But a lot of the planets are sinking into a harmony today. It seems like a lot of parts of our consciousness all come together. For one, the mind. Mercury is at step 23 today. It's still back in Capricorn from the retrograde, but 23 is the grandmaster step of Mercury, which means the mind will come up with some sort of mastermind plan today or sign off on a mastermind plan. And this is probably going back to the Capricorn issue. So this plan deals with controlling your life, moving forward with your life, following a plan with your life. You could say it's a mastermind business plan because that's really what Capricorn is. But the cool thing is Mercury's at step 23, but the sun will be at 14, which adds to a 5, which means there's going to be some real synergy energy between what you're manifesting this month with belonging and what the plan is. So in other words, I think it's going to become sunny and clear what you need to do. A lot of the potential strife today actually deals with the ego. Mars himself is at step 4, the breakthrough number of Aries. And that tells me that ego today, ego meaning something that our willpower was pushing for, something our ego was pushing for will probably break down. It may break down because it's out of commission now, you've got a new agenda, or it may break down which triggers you to understand what the big picture is. At the same time, while you're having early ego breakdown, the moon is in the high degrees of Aries, calling for you to feel strong. So the universe is calling for you to feel strong when basic things are breaking down. Now, that all comes down to really a test of your ego, a test of your strength. I would say today it's very important to focus on how you react to a situation rather than trying to show up doing things perfectly. In other words, be prepared to react. Don't necessarily push your agenda today. Now, in the spiritual realm, there is an incredible amount of activity in this consciousness, too. I've been saying this over and over again. I don't care what it looks like in the outside world with President Trump and politics. God Universe is pouring a lot of spiritual energy on the earth right now and promoting us to ascend. And that is true with the planets. Today, Venus is at step 29 Pisces. Now, this means that you might be tested on your ability to open up spiritually. Now, this sort of a test is not a test that you should feel or worry about failing. It's a test to kind of see where you fit in the big picture. So something might open up in the very big picture. It might be some sort of a crazy offer, like someone says, hey, come run my church. And the whole point is not for you to accept running their church or accept this big offer, but rather to comprehend it, to go, could I do that? Am I open to that? Is that a possibility? Because the spiritual planets show that we are definitely heading into spirit, but where we are actually is at step 10 and step 22. Neptune is at step 10. So as we're opening up to the highest idea of spiritual calling, basically what you're really proficient at is an emotional foundation. Neptune at step 10 says our psychic ability is healed and good at step 10. And it's actually conjuncting Pallas, which means the universe is making a big foundation out of this spiritual trust in yourself. So you're considering the high notes of what if, but you're really focused on the foundation of what is and what you can trust. But then there's Chiron, the planet of healing. And Chiron is actually at step 22, a quantum breakthrough step. And it's kind of almost halfway between Venus and Neptune. So in the middle of this foundation and this possibility, the planets show that you're making a spiritual breakthrough. And this breakthrough will go really for the next couple of weeks. Like, you will literally start to feel like you are not part of an old spiritual class, or you're not part of an old dogma or an old karmic rhythm, and you're literally going to feel the gateways opening up to the next level of spiritual growth, whatever that happens to be for you. So Venus, which is tickling this really big thing today, is really just stretching you open to accept stepping into a higher realm at general. I know that sounds a little vague, but hey, we're talking spirituality here. Sometimes it gets a little vague. But because things can be vague, I have focused on Neptune and the psychic reEvolution. So go steep yourself some tea. I've got part 2 of your tea time. Hello, my friend, and welcome to today's tea time. Today's tea time is a carryover from yesterday, part 2, the psychic reEvolution. And yesterday, if you didn't listen, I was talking about Neptune and the power of the Neptune orbit, how it lifts us up spiritually. I was also talking about the last time that Neptune was in Pisces, the current sign, was in 1848. So this was basically between the California Gold Rush and the Civil War. Long time ago, since we got a spiritual upgrade on Earth. But currently, we are all going through a spiritual upgrade, and psychic awareness is elevating. I have to say, personally, as an intuitive psychic myself, I continually see my abilities expanding naturally year after year. They just expand. I think that's the universe. I think that's the ceiling being raised. In fact, I don't know if I mentioned this yesterday, but Neptune moved into 0-degree Pisces just before the Mayan shift in 2012, and we have been growing and opening up our psychic eye since then. Now, I believe everyone on Earth is becoming more psychic. By more psychic, I mean you are becoming more and more aware of this part of you that is already within you. And according to what sign Neptune was in when you were born, this actually tells us astrologers what psychic awareness you are attuned to or naturally attuned to from a past life. Now again, whether or not you pay attention to it is a whole nother story, but it's there. And in many people, they don't realize it, but Gemini is the logic and the telepathic. That's the two sides of the twin. One side of our mind is completely intuitive. One side of our mind is completely logical. Many times people get the answer intuitively, but their logic mind jumps in and claims the answer. And you don't even question where it came from. You just know it's right. You spit it out. You get the answer, and you think your brain is working magically or pulling up facts magically. And really, it's your intuitive mind. So every human being is using their intuitive mind all the time, but they're not consciously aware of it. And they're also not consciously asking it questions. This is not just an intuitive mind. This is access to the other side. This would be like going up in the space shuttle and not talking to NASA. We incarnate down on Earth and we don't go back home and call God and see what's up. You know what I mean? So the fact that human beings are just waking up to this really shows you how primitive we truly are. But I think this is exciting times. I think we're all about to become profoundly more empathic. And not only are we becoming it, it's necessary, because humanity, like the last time, okay, when Neptune went into Pisces, the last time before the Civil War, everyone's psychic intuition opened up more at that time. And it was necessary because what came very after that required people to listen to their instincts, in some cases to stay alive. So this is a good upgrade. But this time I think it's a more powerful upgrade. I think we're going to all acknowledge that we have the gift. I think we're all going to begin to use it in our practice. And again, based on the generation you were born, you already have a hyper-awareness in one area. So I'm going to go over the different generations of Neptune, like I had before with Pluto, and discuss real quickly where you are naturally psychic intuitive. So let's go way, way back to 1928. That's when Neptune was in Virgo. And ironically, Neptune in Virgo is Neptune in the opposite sign of Pisces, so this literally is, a good way to start this story. And between 1928 and 1942, so if you're born between 28 and 42, you likely have Neptune in Virgo. If you're born again in 42 or on any of the years that are on the boundary line of the transit, you may have to check to see precisely where your Neptune was, because Neptune goes in and out of the signs before it leaves for good. So it gets a little messy on the edges. But 1928 to 1942, Neptune is in Virgo. Now, Neptune is basically in its lowest energy at that point. So that means that between 28 and 42, which was, of course, leading up to World War II, God consciousness was at its lowest point. Okay, so the energies leading up basically through the Great Depression and up until World War II, the God energy was pretty much pinched off. And this generation of Neptune and Virgo, these people are probably these are the fixers. This is actually the generation that figured out rocketry, and all of Hitler's scientists. They all had psychic awareness of how things worked, how things were put together. And so this is why we industrialized it very quickly, because you had this generation on Earth with Neptune and Virgo that just got how things worked. And that's what Virgo is. But as far as spirituality and being connected to what God's saying, not at all. So literally before World War II, we got into our darkest times. And let's not forget that Neptune in Pisces, the last time, was Civil War, our highest times just before the Civil War. Then we have the Neptune and Libra generation, and the Neptune and Libra generation is from 1942 to 1955. Neptune and Libra is a beautiful consciousness. Libra is about creativity and love, so anyone with Neptune and Libra really has the ability to be psychic around arts, poetry, beauty, creation, love, very psychic in relationships. This is where all of your music came out from in the 60s, later in the 60s, about free love and the way things ought to be and wouldn't it be perfect in utopia. That's all the Neptune Libra people from 42 to 55. And these are the people that psychically knew their partners were cheating on them, and they didn't have any, they couldn't prove it, so they knew psychically it was going on. These are the psychics that are really the best for fairness. Like, what is the fairness? Where is the right line? So if you have Neptune in Libra, 42 to 55, you intuitively know where the line is and should be drawn, or where the balance is. The next generation is Neptune in Scorpio from 1956 to 1970. Neptune in Scorpio. So psychic awareness moved into the underworld, moved into trust and boundary issues. And literally 56 to 70, that was the height of the Cold War, right? Where we got the most paranoid. And that might be because we became extremely psychic, and maybe we really did sense that the Russians were about to bomb us. Maybe we really did feel the shadow around the corner. These people with Neptune and Scorpio are kind of your warmongers. They're the ones that are looking for some sort of act of terrorism to happen at any moment. And psychically, you are kind of got your thumb on that pulse. If you have Neptune and Scorpio, you kind of have an intuition for the morbid, for things that are about to die, for things that are about to end, and for the bad news that's about to come. So Neptune and Scorpio, not always the most fun soothsayer. Neptune in Sag happened from 1970 to 1984, 1970 to 84. And this is actually my generation, and I can speak for it frankly. Neptune and Sag, we Neptune and Sag people psychically understand the best way culture goes together. So we understand culture, we understand diversity, We understand teaching and educating. And so really, I think the 70 to 84s are really your teacher light walkers, the ones that have come to teach, spread information. It's coming psychically and channeling past life information where you've learned in other galaxies or on other lifetimes on Earth. And Neptune and Sag is here to basically keep culture together as it goes through all these changes. Then was Neptune in Capricorn. Neptune in Capricorn is from 1984 to 1998. And this literally is a generation that, again, it's kind of like Virgo. These people actually psychically know how to get what they want, actually. Like they have this, they say that, Trump is the art of the deal. Neptune and Capricorn kind of smells the deal, kind of smells who's lying, who's not, plays the game of chess better because they know their opponent's next move. And so Neptune and Capricorn people are here to really help us rebuild after we go through a breakthrough with our culture. And they're intuitively are going to understand from 84 to 98. This generation intuitively kind of knows the way things should be put together and intuitively knows how to do it. Neptune in Aquarius was from 1998 to 2011. These are, of course, youngins right now. But these youngins with Neptune in Aquarius, they psychically hold the vibration for the age of Aquarius. They intuitively know what age of Aquarius means. They know what we the people means. This is part of your reEvolution. This is part of your... they definitely overlap in the millennial section with Neptune and Aquarius. So the Neptune and Aquarius people on the planet are literally here to download the age of Aquarius. So you see this whole symphony from fairness to boundaries to education to how to build the new world to how to structure the new world in Aquarius. Everyone, as they awaken with their psychic awareness, you already are endowed with the answers that we seek. What you're learning is to listen and to trust those answers. So from 2011 to 2025, Neptune will be in Pisces. And this will be the biggest pumping up of spirit that we can have. So God is going to keep pumping spirit till 2025. How does God pump spirit on the earth with Neptune in Pisces? She has a bunch of souls born with Neptune in Pisces, and they are living carbon batteries of this consciousness. So all the children born right now are extremely important because they're holding that high spiritual vibration that we're going to really borrow against and have behind us when we go for this age of Aquarius transition. So it is a psychic reEvolution. And that reEvolution is, it's time to take seriously what your intuition tells you, because in that intuition is your holy path. All right, my friend, I hope you've enjoyed this special Part 2 edition. I will be back tomorrow with more. Until then, remember, I'm grateful for you. I love you, and live, love, be.